Source Podcast.
Hello, listeners. Welcome back to my episode. It is episode 113. And you have the lovely ladies,
Anna,
Michelle,
Molly,
And Melissa.
ta-da! And for my episode today, I'm going to talk about a Hmong taboo that I've kind of been seeing circulating on TikTok a little bit. It's basically about Hmong marriage and how younger generations have been changing, I guess, the way or the people who they marry. Because in the Hmong culture, you're not supposed to marry someone with the same last name or from the same clan per se. But the TikTok I was thinking of is one where the husband took the wife's last name instead of vice versa. And the comments had very mixed reviews, although most people didn't like that he did that. And while others are like, good for him, good for her, y'all do you type of thing. So, I just wanted to delve into that whole ordeal of, I guess, being progressive in the United States, and also the whole you can't marry within your clan deal. So for you younger generations, what do you think about how the husband took the wife's name instead? And or just about the Hmong taboo in general, because I know we all grew up with that taboo, with that rule. So
I think I've seen that video you're talking about, because some people who were against that guy taking her last name, or was not against, but when they were comparing about marrying with the same last name, they were like, oh, they're not okay with that, but then marrying your first cousin is okay. And yeah. I'm like, wow. At first, I thought it was pretty progressive that he was willing to take her name. I think that was pretty cool. And they were basically, like, not breaking tradition, but they're like, hey, let's change it up. So it was pretty cool to see a guy that's willing to step down and be like, oh, it's not going to, like, make me less of a man or whatever, right, if I take her name or something.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for a lot of us younger generations, it's like a last name is just a last name. But then again, that's just how, I wouldn't say how we were raised, but more of like just the culture of the the West is, like with the United States. So yeah, last name's not really a big deal. It just, I don't know. I guess it just tells you who you are or who your parents are or what family you belong to and stuff like that. But I don't think it necessarily would erase your identity or anything like that if you were to take your wife's name or to, another taboo is marry out of race and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I think that's just us as a younger generation, for me at least, because I'm the one who married out of race. So, but what do you two think over there? About the man taking the wife's last name.
About the man taking that woman's last name?
Yeah, either that or, like I said, the Hmong taboo of not marrying within the clan. But yeah, it's okay to marry your first cousin of blood.
I mean, good for him for choosing to do something different, choosing the woman's last name. I mean, that's not any different of having the woman stick with her same last name than choosing the man's last name, kind of thing,
Yeah.
which is not common in
I
the Hmong
agree with
community.
you.
So, and then dating out of race, I don't know. To me, in my opinion, you never, with Hmong people, you never know who's your first cousin or who isn't even related to you nowadays. With all the taboo and the marriages in Hmong community, you honestly, yeah, you'd never know now. So, plus, like, most of the Hmong men that I know of are not that great personality wise. Just the way they are, that I know of, just traditionally how they are, it's just not my vibe. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's probably why I'm not dating in race within the Hmong community. But I don't know.
Is that? I mean, this is like a personal question, but when you say that, is it a personal decision to go out of your way to not, or it just happened to be like that?
It just happened to be like that, but I just prefer not to. Just because of just how Hmong tradition is impacted in a lot of the Hmong men here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that, yeah, just kind of makes me kind of
It
draw
turns you
away.
off.
Yeah. Yeah, it turns me off.
Yeah, I hear you.
But-
Yes. Since you're the single one over there.
I would say personally, I find it kind of weird that he wants to take her name. I think it's just because I don't know the whole story. That's why it's weird. It's not weird because of anything negative. It's just I don't know the whole story. Because it's kind of like what Molly said. She doesn't have to take his name, so I think it's not a big deal, if that makes sense.
That he took her last name?
Well, like just the whole last name thing.
Okay.
Like if let's say if I married somebody and I choose not to take your last name, I feel like that should just be like oh, okay, that's fine. You know? And so I also feel that same way on that side too. I guess it is a big deal because it's the man changing the last name from the woman. So yeah, it's a big deal. But at the same time, it's why is it a big deal? Does that make sense?
Because it's very patriarchal thinking.
Right.
It's how we were raised.
Right,
To think
right,
that. To think that the man is always the head of the household.
Yeah.
Therefore, everyone below him has to, follow him and stuff like that. So, for a man, I guess for them to feel, empowered or in leadership and stuff like that, there has to be other people of his family with his last name. So kind of like the wife taking his last name. Therefore, it just kind of means she will forever be below him and follow him because he's the head of the household type of thing. So that's very patriarchal thinking, and that goes with a lot of people of color cultures. Because I know a lot of Asian cultures are like that. Hispanic cultures are like that.
Yeah.
And whatever. So I know a lot of people are being rubbed the wrong way whenever the women don't take the men's last name, but stick with theirs, or whether or not the husband takes the wife's last name, and so on and so forth. So I think it just depends on on the couple. And I think no one else should have a say in it because that's not your relationship. It's theirs. Their
Yeah.
relationship. If that's how they want to do it, then just let them do them and you do you. So
But didn't she say in the video though that they did have kids? That I don't know if you read the comments.
I did read the comments. I didn't know if they had kids or if they were questioning when they do have kids.
I think someone had said that in that video.
Oh,
That
okay.
if you have kids, whose last name are they gonna take? And I think she said they're gonna take his.
Even though he took it.
I think so. That's why
Oh.
I have to look at that video again. Sorry.
No,
But
go ahead. You're fine.
This is allegedly. Sorry. Let me look at the actual facts. Sorry.
Yeah, I do remember reading something like that, but
I was just gonna say, as I get older, it's like you get to really try to see from somebody else's perspective, especially if you're in a long committed relationship. And maybe there are some Hmong guys that do see it your way, where like they believe that, you know, like everybody should just follow. But I think it's also kind of like it's just something that they've always known to be true, that whoever that they marry to, that person needs to change to their last name. And I think that is something that most people don't challenge. And I think that couple is probably just challenging it or questioning it, you know.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's necessarily like they all think that, you know, I'm the man of the house and you should follow. I think it could just truly be that, you know, oh, this is just how it is, and I never thought to question it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's probably majority of it. Though I'm not gonna lie, there probably are some guys like that
That do think that, yes.
yeah, have that same mindset. But I also believe that majority of it is more of like thinking, you know, this is just how it is. This is how it is, and I've never been challenged to think about it or question it. And, you know, like to tie this back into the whole Hmong taboo of marrying with the last name, I can honestly admit that I've been raised to believe that, you know, that's wrong, right? But as I have gotten older and, you know, I'm around people that are willing to be patient with me and like help me understand that, you know, it's as long as it's not blood related, what is so wrong with it, and you know, and like I said, challenging someone from a good place.
Yes, from like
genuinely like trying to understand.
Yeah.
And I think that that's probably what it really is, because if I'm gonna be honest, I don't think our Hmong men get challenged enough, because I mean, not to like make it any worse, like a men versus women thing, but most men don't get challenged enough, and then like they don't take it as an ego thing, like a hit towards their ego. So that's something that haven't been able to do. So when someone questions them, it's like, oh, you know, that hits my ego, and nobody has ever told me in my whole life that I've done something wrong or whatever. Right. So why should I believe you, first of all, you know? But anyway, I was just saying, because I was like, oh, that's what immediately I thought of.
Yeah. Did you happen to find
No
comments?
I have not found it. So right now, no, that was allegedly. I was wrong. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
For that poster.
But
so sorry.
Yeah, but that's still a good question though for a lot of people. It's like, if that were the case, well, for me, okay, if he did change his last name to her last name, then automatically it would be the kids would have her last name.
Right.
You know, that's kind of like what the pattern would go, right?
Technically speaking, yes. That should how it go.
Yeah.
Should be how it goes.
Yeah, they would have their mom's last name.
Yes.
You know, which obviously the couple doesn't care, or the husband doesn't care, because he chose her last name. Therefore, he will be okay with the kids having his wife's last name instead of his. So,
I mean, I hate to be that person, but at the end of the day, it's none of anybody's business. I don't really care.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, there are some siblings too that I know that have, well, they're not Hmong or Asian, but they have different last names. It's just because of what their parents wanted to do.
Are you saying like they have the same parents biologically, but then they just have different last names?
Just because of how they were named after. Some are like named have their dad's last name. Some have their mom's last name. Some have their grandpa's last name. It just depends on the parents.
At the end, I think it really just ties into like legacy, because a lot of so it all just comes back to like identity, because if anybody understands Hmong history, we've been like literally killed off. Our people, our ethnic group has been killed off so many times, and we're like known to be the roaches that never seem to want to die, like can never be killed off, you know. I don't remember where I heard that saying from, but it's like, you know, we have the flip side of it is that we have so much pride in who we are, and so that's probably like, it's kind of like the whole thing of not bringing shame to your clan too by marrying and whatever. I don't know if maybe a couple or two that had done that and maybe they did do something. I don't know. But now things have changed. And I think as long as that couple is not, you know, like committing like actual incest, which I feel like, isn't that illegal? Okay.
Yes, that's illegal.
Then
yes.
I don't have a problem with it. And if they're genuinely good people, I will root for them. Because at the end of the day, they're just people who just love each other and want to be together.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at what you're saying.
What?
I'm just laughing at what's next to the iPad.
Just
it was really random because I looked at it and I was like, oh, okay. But yes.
Yeah. So I think that's what just it really is. It's really hard for people, like I can admit for myself that when someone, like the example I said earlier, when challenging the Hmong taboo of marrying with the same last name, I was like, well, it's gross, right? Like you're not supposed to. That's literally like your family, you know? And when I was being challenged with that, at first it was denial. And then, you know, the person who I talked to, I don't remember who it was, or just many conversations I've had about it. It's just kind of like, well, what about if it's this scenario, like how is this different from marrying your first cousin and blah, blah, blah. You know, or whatever on your mom's side, you know, and then I'm like, oh, that is true, you know, and like if you keep having these, it's not going to be a one-off instance. I think it's going to be where having these vulnerable conversations and being vulnerable with each other and saying like, hey, you know, if you're willing to listen, let's have a conversation about it without being defensive.
Yes.
I had my ex-boyfriend's brother did this. He married somebody with the same last name, and he was like kind of shunned a little bit from like his parents. And like I didn't know that because I've noticed like throughout the years that like we knew each other of each other's families. Like when we were broken up, like I've kind of noticed that like the younger brother wasn't really in the picture a lot. And so one day I had just asked my ex at the time, and I had asked like what happened, and he was just like, oh, we don't really talk about that anymore. And I'm like, well, what happened for y'all to like not want to talk about it? And there he was like, well, he basically just committed taboo, and he married a girl with the same last name, and caused, you know, shame upon the family, and he basically just got shunned from the community kind of thing. And I was like, well, how do you feel about that? And he was like, well, I can see the taboo, and yeah, it is taboo, you know, to be marrying somebody of your same last name. And I'm like, that's it? Why? Like, why do you feel like that? And he's just like, you know, because it's just tradition. It's just
how it is.
How it is.
Yeah.
You know? And so, again, I just like pushing people's freaking buttons. And I was like, so you're okay with marrying your first cousin? You know?
Yeah.
And he's just like, no, I wouldn't even do that either. And I'm just kind of like...
But apparently it's okay to marry your first cousin. Like blood cousin.
Yeah,
you know?
like, but if it was like a really hot girl... okay, let's be honest here. If it was a really hot girl, a really hot guy that was your first blood cousin, different last names, I'm pretty sure you'll feel some type of attraction to them and some type of like, I mean, we're not the same last name, so technically it is okay.
And also it goes into the whole thing too that is actually normal back then.
Yeah.
To say like, oh, yo dalu tunsai or
Yeah.
dua, and it's basically like your mom's nephews and nieces, like, get with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird because, like, I find it weird how they would tell us to go marry your cousin to keep it in the family, right?
No.
But it's kind of like, but if that's the case, then why is it not okay to marry the same last name then? Since you want to keep it in the family so much, why not marry somebody with the last name? You know? That's what I was always confused with growing up, because it's kind of like, this is me, only me, okay? So, and I'm sure you girls too. I would never, ever marry my first cousins. Okay?
Never say never.
You know, because it's...
You wouldn't want to.
No, I wouldn't want to. I would never, ever. Even if I were to meet another Hmong guy, and I were to think, oh yeah, he's cute, da da da, and like, you know, we like hit it off or whatever. But then, say we have different last names and stuff like that. But as soon as I find out that we are related by blood, I'm just like, no. And I think it's because I've studied like medical stuff. I have a medical background a little bit, and I know things about like genetics and biology and stuff like that. It's like, when you want to keep it within the family, like blood wise, you know, you're gonna have some complications with the next generation.
I was gonna be like, have you seen the British Empire?
I was gonna be
Yeah.
like, too.
Chins?
Yes, their
Yes.
chins and the way they look and all like the sickness symptoms they have.
And
that's
how-
all because of inbreeding.
Yes,
y'all.
that's
Inbreeding,
inbreeding.
and then people do say the pictures just show the best parts of what they actually look like. So
Yeah.
Like
that's
the
not what they
like the painting.
their
pictures
paintings are not actually what they actually look like.
like.
It's
They
just
did
they
it to beautify
be
them.
modest and
filtered
beautify
them.
it. They have filtered them.
Yeah, that's
It's a filter.
yeah, that's the beauty filter.
Yeah, that's not what they actually look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you think about it, yes, the British people did that,
Mm-hmm.
and people wonder, oh, why do they not live very long?
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why. Or why is she constantly having miscarriages? Or why is the baby's always dying early? And stuff like that. And it's because of inbreeding.
Yeah.
Genetically and biologically, it does not work out, because it just doesn't.
So would
Yeah.
you say that it's like, when, okay, this sounds gross, but when you like purposely do incest or inbreeding, that's like basically purposely in bringing harm to those children.
Yes,
Yeah.
it
Right?
is. It
Because
goes
like there's nothing wrong, because it's different if it's like your child just happens to have disabilities when they come out. That's different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but then like intentionally with someone with the same like bloodline, then that's different.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
that one family, that one that lives in the countryside that they interviewed and whatnot. Like it's
Oh, yeah,
an
they're like-
inbreed family, and you can
They're
tell.
like blue or whatever. Isn't it that those people?
No, they're not. I don't know if
Blue.
they're blue, but you can tell that there are distinct like
Oh,
facial
features?
features and a lot of features that you can tell that they were inbred.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, maybe some people think that it'll eventually like get better. No, it does not get better. It just gets worse, because it's that's just not how genetic works. That's
It's
not how
illegal for a
science-
reason.
Yes, it's illegal for a reason, because it's not fair for the babies, for the kids. You know, because like you're inbreeding and you're giving birth to these kids who end up having disabilities because of your inbreeding, because of your irresponsibility.
They're like
Purpose
disabilities
Yes.
or like they're deformed a little, you know.
Yes, they're
of them
deformed.
that- or yeah.
Well, I
they're
mean, I only
usually-
know the royal family when you guys talking about, and then like the
They're
chin. I forgot like the terminology for their chin.
I know in the British Empire, I think there was a king that had like a very big, I think, disability or like a deformation, and he didn't, I think, last long during his reign.
I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of royal kids, babies and stuff, the reason why they would die off so early is because of inbreeding. Because your body doesn't develop the correct like abilities to like fight off infection, or due to the deformities like that, your body is constantly fighting itself because it doesn't recognize your body as your body.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I just thought of the stupid bunnies.
I'm thinking Made in Abyss. She's talking about. I'm thinking of like if you're trying to like visually see it, like so you see your DNA, right? And it goes into what's it called?
It's
That
the helix.
The
helix
helix,
or whatever.
uh-huh.
So I'm thinking of it as like positive, negative. So each different person has a different amount of positive and negatives, okay?
Yes.
But when you are inbreeding with somebody who has the very, very similar shape, they're not going to connect because a negative and a negative can't connect
No,
to each other.
they basically
Is that how
fight.
you're visually
That's how
seeing
I'm
it?
visually
Yes.
seeing
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
That's what inbred is. It's when negative and negative, positive is hitting each other.
This is not medical
Yeah.
research. This is how she's visually
how my
understanding.
ADHD is seeing
is how
it.
That's how she's understanding
processing
it,
this.
yeah.
Yes, that's how it.
Which is great.
That's how it's going.
Yeah.
That's how inbreed happens. And then whenever they surprisingly make a baby, it's probably like forced
Yeah.
into it. Therefore, it's not
Or like
100 complete there. So therefore, when they are born, there's a lot of side effects to it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
understood that it would just wouldn't make sense to, you know.
I just
with the
forgot
same-
what that family's name was.
I swear there was
They
another
did a
family.
they did a documentary because they live out in the boonies,
Yeah.
and like they're homeschooled. They're basically isolated themselves in this one area,
Yeah, there's like another family like
and then
that.
a lot of them
They're
can't.
blue.
A lot of them can't talk. Is what it is.
like physically can't.
yeah,
talk?
like they don't have like a verbal speech kind of thing,
oh,
or like they have trouble speaking or something like that.
how do they not see like? And that's here in the States.
I think either here in the States. I don't remember. All I know is that they're out in the country.
Oh, because you know, like there's so many laws that they have regulating, like making sure that your kids go to school and stuff. So how do they fall under the
they're
radar?
probably
They're
in-
probably homeschooled.
They're probably homeschooled and they're isolated.
Oh my gosh.
Because I think when looking at their family, they look old. Like it's like a long line. Like it's been going on for a while in the house.
Oh. Yeah, sorry. Chills. But going back to you, Liz, what do you
What?
mean blue? Like skin is blue?
Yes, like they apparently, I don't know who it is, but it's a family who's kind of like Molly's story where they're out in the boonies. And I think originally, allegedly, I don't know why they are blue or like skin tinted blue. I don't know if it's like from their environment or if it's like something that
They're consuming.
they're consuming or whatever, but they are blue. Like their skin has a tint of blue to it, and so they've noticed that each person in, I guess, that little village that they're in, they're all blue, and it turns out that it's like because of inbreeding as
inbreeding.
well.
The Fugate family.
That are blue?
Yes, the blue
Yes.
fugates.
Yes.
Yeah, those are not the people I'm talking about. Mine are like the actual hillbilly.
The Google. Well, yeah,
Is
it
it-
sounded like two different families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it inbreeding on that one?
Yeah, they said that the Google says that they believe that the condition was passed through generations due to the isolated community and subsequent intermarriages. The last known affected family member was born in 1975.
Oh, here we go. We're a family in rural eastern Kentucky who carried a genetic trait that caused
Molly's
Method-
looking at me all weird.
methylglobinaria,
Of course it'll be over there.
a blood disorder resulting in blue tinged skin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they're blue.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally blue. Like
Oh, that's just.
Oh, I remember his story. Yes.
I remember seeing him, but I don't remember seeing his family also had blue skin.
I forgot what his story is. I don't know if he's related to them or not, but
Yeah,
I do
but I
remember,
remember that dude.
Yeah, the Papa Smurf. Because
Papa Smurf.
that's what they called him.
He looked like Papa
that's
Smurf.
mean.
Yeah, because
That
of his
is mean.
skin. Because yeah, that's very distinct. You can't hide that.
Yeah, the family I'm talking about, it's more recent, like within the
Oh,
last
okay.
few years, like years back, because they finally got, I think, we're able to go and like talk to them and interview them because their family refused to like
Right.
interviews and stuff, and
Yeah,
I think they
yeah.
finally just
Well, because
decided.
people are mean and they're weird. Like they're not doing it because like, oh, I just wanted to know, like, you know what happened. It's more of like, ooh, tell me.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah.
a circus, show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like kind of like, oh, I'm amazed because you look that way.
And you know about like circus stuff, acts and stuff, and like that. Back in the day, it was filled with inbred children. because of that.
I didn't know that.
Yes, like a lot of the circus freaks and stuff like that that they would show off, like in The Greatest Showman, stuff like that. A lot of those kids are inbred.
Oh,
That's why they have
poor
those
baby.
deformities or like you know, just weird or different
just look
stuff.
different.
Yes, they just look different,
Oh,
and it's usually because of inbreeding. So circling back to us Hmong people who practice that and believe that it's okay to marry your blood cousin of a different last name, but not okay to marry of someone with different last name but no relation whatsoever. It's kind of confusing, and a lot of the younger generations nowadays are picking up on that, and they're kind of just like, that doesn't make sense. Why would you inbreed with your family by blood, but not be okay to marry someone with the same last name but no blood relations?
but I like it that the younger generation now are starting to question that because they're
Yeah.
challenging. They're not saying like, you know, this is some. They're not saying like, oh, you know, what word I'm trying to say, but they're basically standing up to it and saying why should we follow it? We should do
Yeah,
something
it doesn't
different.
make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it make sense is what
Yeah.
is what the kids nowadays are saying, because it's true. It does not make sense whatsoever, because I'm sure every one of us out there, Hmong people, we know of someone who did marry their first cousin. You know, now how many of you out there know of that couple or of a couple who is like that? And just think about it. It's like, have they had fertility issues? Have they been having trouble like keeping a pregnancy, or maybe if their kids were born and looked a certain way? You know, it's usually caused by inbreeding like that. Now, I'm not saying every single kid that comes out of it is going to look a strange way. No, some kids were lucky and were just fine and born normally, but a lot of them will probably come out with some type of deformation or some type of I don't know, something just different about them. You know, I'm not saying that it's autism or anything like that. That is a whole different tier.
Yeah.
So please don't bring that into this, because that's not what it is, and it's not related to this
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
But because I know of a first cousin marriage like that, and they did have a ton of miscarriages before they had successful births.
Yes.
And even those births, you kind of question as well. So,
I mean, even though it was frowned upon for first cousin marriages, I mean, the one that we know or of is like a total opposite, where it's not frowned upon. Isn't it? They're more like
They're favored.
they're favored
oh yeah,
rather
they're
than
favored.
They're
There we go.
favored.
Because they're doing like what
Yes.
they want, which
Yes.
is,
The elders.
you know,
want.
yeah,
Yes.
marrying the relative that they want of their choice. Yeah.
right. That's why I was like, how can it be so frowned upon, but yet it's so favored on certain occasions?
Yeah,
you know?
like just like right now, like I hate to use it as an example list, but
Uh-huh.
you're technically a Ngolo, so
Yes.
that means old maiden in Hmong.
Yes.
And instead of letting your daughter live independently and be her own person, at her age doesn't mean that, instead of letting her live freely, they want her to go and inbreed with a relative.
Yes.
Yeah, and be like, you're not married yet? You're so old. Here, go marry auntie's nephew over here, or
Auntie's kid.
Auntie's kid right here. You know, like that's actually pretty common.
Yeah.
You know, instead of letting your daughter or your son live their lives, no, let me find you someone since you can't find someone. And it's like,
And
okay.
it's usually a blood relative.
Yeah, it almost always is.
like, I'm okay with it being like, what's the other saying? Like twice removed,
Yeah.
or whatever. You know, like if it's further down the family tree because it's like through marriage or something.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's okay. Like depending on how far
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that is.
But if it's like your aunt's kid, like your
Like
mom's
your sister's mom's, your
Yeah.
mom's sister's kid.
kid, then no.
No. But if it's just like down the road more and it's like maybe, oh, this is my cousin's cousin,
Mm-hmm.
brother or something.
Or like my
Through
sister-in-law,
marriage.
my sister-in-law's in-laws cousin,
yeah.
or something like that.
Then sure, that's fine. But
We'll look into it
Yeah.
and see.
we'll see how the family tree is. But
That's why I said you can't trust Hmong people because, like I said, all the taboo stuff has been like shoved under the rug, so you never know who's actually related to who.
Exactly.
But then again, that's everybody else too. That's why, like
Yeah.
with Koreans had this problem too, where they weren't allowed to marry the same last name. But Korean people were like, we just got so overpopulated to the point to where we don't care anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's so many songs, there's so many Kims, there's so
Kims,
many
Lees.
Lees,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you know, to where we don't care as long as it's not actual
Blood.
family
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think Hmong people just have not gotten to that point yet.
Yeah, to the realization, like, okay, you know?
Yeah.
Well, now we're only to the part where they start to raise their hand and be like, I
Yes.
got a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yes.
Mr. Teacher, I got a question. Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
exactly.
literally.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
because even I discussed that with my boyfriend because he's Mexican. Because I asked him like, since you guys have like very common last names, or like you guys have like long last names or like multiple last names, it's like how does that like affect you guys? With the same last name kind of thing. He's like, honestly, that doesn't really matter as long as they're not your first cousin, like your aunt's kid, then you should be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I was telling about that too. Because I was telling like how the Americans were. There's a John Smith and then there's a Amy Smith, but they're not like related, but they can get married, kind of thing. And he's like, yeah, that's how it is.
That's how
with
Vietnamese
us,
people
too.
are too.
That's
Yeah.
just like that show that I watch, Blackish, and when you watch it, one of the things that they say is that they got together. They already have the same last name, but they're not related. Like you find that out because like their last name is Johnson. So her name is Johnson, and that's her maiden name, and she married a Johnson, and they're not related, but they're Johnson. So
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think it's going to take a while for the Hmong community to like come to terms with that, because we've been, I hate saying it like this, but we've been inbreeding for so long now that how do you know that's not your cousin? How do you know that? It's just like, and plus, like, it also goes for the like the orphan kids who get adopted and their last name gets changed and stuff like that. So say she was a Vang, but she got adopted, so now she's a Lord. So does that mean she can't marry Vang and Lord?
Oh, that's a
Yes.
whole nother episode.
So it's
Yeah.
it's very, very difficult and just
I feel
overall ridiculous.
Like I said, that's another episode, and I feel like it's not fair for that person who was a, what did you say?
Orphan, a Vang,
Vang, and then
into
became a
Lord.
lore, because I feel like traditionally they're gonna want that kid, especially if it was a boy, to follow the lore. But I feel like that's not fair to that kid.
No, it's not.
So it's like, as long as they're not blood related, I think it's okay.
Because that brings me up to that guy who kept talking to me, and he has a Mika last name. You two know him.
I know.
Oh,
Yes, the Hmong guy who has a Mika last name that kept trying to talk to me.
Oh,
So I had asked him about that one time.
You're
'cause-
number one fan?
Yes.
okay.
And so I had asked him about that one time because I'm like, how is that possible
That you have a Miguel last
that
name?
you have a Mika last name?
Yeah.
And not to be mean, but you're older. So how is that possible that you have a Mika last name?
Yeah.
And so he was like, well, my mom's a Yang, and my biological dad's a Vang. But I got adopted by Mika people later on in life. And I'm like, so your mom is still in the picture with you? And he's like, yes, but I'm guessing when he, at a certain age, he got adopted by Mika people.
Was this like a DHS thing?
I don't know. He didn't go into detail, but that's what he had said. And so
Okay.
therefore, he says, so for him, for the Hmong girl that he's looking for, he can't talk to Yangs, Vangs at all.
Just to be safe.
Just to be safe. That's what he says.
Oh.
And then now that he says, well, technically my last name is Mika, so technically I could talk to anybody that I want to.
Technically,
because,
yeah.
Technically,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, because I don't, my last name is Mika, not last name.
Uh-huh.
But he was just very adamant on, like, I can't talk to Yangs or Vangs kind of thing.
He probably just didn't want to risk the inbred stuff. But I don't know.
No, I think
I
it's more
don't
like he
know.
just didn't want to risk the whole tradition
The
taboo
that
thing.
taboo
Yeah.
marriage.
Yeah.
But still, inbred.
I had something mean to say after he said that, but I was like, I'm not going to say it.
That's like the
Okay.
that Hmong movie that we used to have at the house, where like there's two sisters, one's blind, one is very pretty, and I think at their teenage years, I think she went off to go, the pretty one went off to go hang out with the guy, and then she ended up getting pregnant. She ends up dying while giving birth, so the blind sister takes care of the baby. I don't know if you guys remember this.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
No.
She
I
takes.
don't know, but
she-
it sounds like one of them old movies.
It's an old movie, and so the blind sister ends up taking care of the son. Ends up taking care of the son, and then the son grows up,
Yeah.
and then he finds this girl, and he's like madly in love with this girl, and then the blind girl finds out who the dad is of the daughter, and so she goes after them because they were about to go do
They're
the thing.
half sister, half sibling.
They were half siblings because she found out that the son, the girl's dad is the girl or the guy that her
sister was with.
Her sister was with.
See, that's why you cannot keep these kids out in the dark about who their parents are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like,
why.
they were about to do it too. That's why the sister ran after to go look
If
for them.
anybody knows what this Hmong movie
Yes.
It's
Give
with
us the title.
It's that one. It's that one guy, Hmong guy with the big nose. That popular Hmong guy.
with the middle split in the hair.
The Konako.
He's in there. It's not that.
He's
movie,
the
but
main
it's a
guy.
different
Yes,
one. It was not the same movie. It's a different movie with.
it's
him
a
in
different
there.
movie. Yeah, but yeah, he's in it.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yes, again, yeah. I'm with Anna. This is why you cannot lie to your
Can't.
kids of who their parents are.
I've
Because
heard.
shit like this happens.
No, because it's like I don't know what's with these like Hmong elders that think that they're protecting the kids or like by not telling them that stuff because there have been like people have like heard stories that like these kids they their parents divorced, they go live on opposite sides of the country in the US, right? And then they somehow magically met up and that they love each other. Some of them, unfortunately, though they're siblings, they do the deed and they don't know until they find out after. And it's like in that situation, it's so sad. It's like they're already falling in love with each other. Like who's at fault here? The freaking adults in the
Yes,
situation.
the adults.
yeah, because in that Hmong movie, when they find out, because she runs over to the girl's house and tells the guy, because the guy didn't know that the sister had a kid
Oh.
because she passed away, so the dad didn't know
No, that he
that he had
existed.
another kid.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
But he sat there, he was like crying. And then the next scene, it's the two half hugging each other and him singing a sad song.
Oh
her.
my darling.
Oh my
I was
god.
going to start singing the other song he sang.
What song? Do it.
The Konako song.
Oh god.
I don't know how it goes.
Oh my god. Wow.
But yeah, there are real stories like that I've heard.
Yeah.
And a lot of people actually have the same mutual feelings about it where they feel bad for the kids in question. But it's like, at the end of the day, the adults that swear they were quote unquote protecting them or like, but not saying anything because either they had like a falling out with their partner and that's why they didn't want to say anything or tell them about it. And the separation happened when they were younger. It's like that does more harm to the kids. But
But
there's
yes,
a
that
lot of
does.
stories like that.
Yeah, that does more harm than good. Even if if the opposite, even if the other parent is a deadbeat, they still deserve to know. Because that deadbeat could be making other babies out there, and those other babies could end up being with your original baby, and it not be good because they're half siblings.
Didn't you guys tell me about like a Mika story about that one time where we read about it, and like somebody, like, it was a guy and he was dating this or talking to this girl, and turns out that it was the daughter of his like ex wife or somebody that he ended up talking to. And then he was like, oh no, I'm not gonna do it.
So he was talking to his daughter?
No, it's not his daughter. It was somebody, I don't know, it was something like really, really close, where I felt uncomfortable because of that. I thought there was a McDonald's story like that too, but anyway, at the end of the day, don't leave these kids in the dark.
They deserve to know. They deserve to know.
Be like, this person is a deadbeat parent. This is how they look like. This is all of their information.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, don't be like them. You know, it's like they deserve to know whether their parents are dangerous, a good person, a bad person, because they need to learn.
Or to be fair, like, let them learn that they're a bad person, but here's all of the information,
Yes.
you know? Like,
I would say that would
For
also
them to
follow
form
with
their own
the sperm
opinion.
donors too. Like those, you know, if you want to learn who your dad is. Well, it also depends on that sperm donor because they have the option to not know.
girl, that's a whole nother episode too.
But like I said, that's a whole different episode. I would still let my kids know, but like, hey, you were sperm
donor baby.
Yeah, sperm donor
I
baby.
think people have a lot of pride and they don't want to admit their mistakes or they're embarrassed of it. And I'm just kind of like, who cares?
What do you mean, like,
Like your kid has the
mistakes?
right to do that. Yeah, right to know.
What do you mean that's bad mistakes?
Like, okay, so for instance, we all know somebody who every time they come around, they're very quiety because they don't want people to know that's where they're at.
Yeah.
You know, they move in the silence, and I feel like a lot of times that's because if you have to move in silence like that, you're embarrassed of something. To me,
You're hiding.
you're hiding something, you know. And so I feel like a lot of women, a lot of men, they are embarrassed to admit that they made a mistake in their life and it resulted having a child with somebody else, or just an embarrassing moment in their life that they're not proud of. Therefore, they choose to manipulate the story and make it seem like, let's say, your dad's dead, but in reality, they're not.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm saying, is that like a lot of people are just embarrassed about it, about a certain time in their life that they're not proud of. I had a moment of weakness and I ended up having another child with somebody else, kind of thing. And so that's where I was getting at, is that like sometimes you parents need to just
Rip the Band-Aid.
yeah, like, okay, we get it, but I feel like that would make you seem more human in your child's eyes because, hey, my parents make mistakes, so it's okay to,
It's more like,
you know,
grow up.
I mean, like, in that
Yeah.
moment,
Like, grow up.
I think that, like, I would appreciate an honest parent that, because, like, in the moment when you're a kid, if you're asking a question and you get an honest answer, it's gonna hurt because, you know, you're just a kid. But as you get older, you kind of appreciate, like, oh, that's what they meant, versus like a childhood full of all these dang white lies
yeah,
that ended up like multiplying into a big lie, because that happens.
Yeah.
All white lies lead to
One big one.
one big one.
yeah.
That ain't so white.
No, it's not actually.
It's a big old blackhead.
Yeah.
Ew.
Oh my god. But anyway, so going back to the whole Hmong taboo thing, I was looking at some I was researching more about the Hmong taboo stuff and what other people had to say about it, like on TikTok and even on like Reddit and stuff like that. And one person suggested like either she or he heard something of this sort, and whether or not it's true, we don't know. But they said they heard that like it was General Vang Pao. Like during the Secret War, he demanded that his soldiers not date the same last name because then they won't be able to address each other. Because it's like, okay, I get the whole addressing thing because it's kind of like how dad is with that certain family list.
It's like a ranking thing.
Like a ranking?
Yes, a ranking thing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know, so yeah, people are saying, or yeah, that person said that that's what they heard was that it's because of General Vang Pao, which in all honesty, it's probably something like way back further anyway. That's like a cultural legend or story or whatever for Hmong people. But from what they heard, part of it or most of it was because of General Vang Pao telling
But
them
then
not to
again,
do
when
that.
I researched General Vang Pao, he had a lot of mistresses too, so you never know.
Exactly.
I was gonna say.
Probably got one.
He had a,
so
it's like he had a lot of
mean. I gotta
mistresses.
stop.
Mistresses.
Anyway,
You know, so
I believe that because there are stories where I hear that like people are my parents' age would be able to pass along, and they say that like people that get married within the families like that, like marrying your cousins basically, and they said, oh, don't marry them because you'll lose your ranking. Like,
Oh, yeah.
an example would be like talking to the female in the partnership and saying, if you marry, you lose your ranking as the I don't know, like the ranking in the
Whoever.
father's generation, which is higher than who you're trying to get with, which is the grandson's generation. Like, this is me literally translating it, but saying it among it makes more sense. And it's like, okay, is that bad? And then like,
yeah, exactly. Is that bad?
I've asked
For the men, yeah.
no, I asked my dad. I've asked my dad about like those stories that we hear.
Yeah.
And then my dad goes, I don't really care, but I just think it's funny. Like, my dad says that because he's like, because now that person won't be able to be addressed as someone within the higher ranking in the family as a father generation, and they'll be brought down like a couple tiers to the grandson's level, so
Yeah.
then they won't have that same status. And then I was like thinking to myself, but will they really? They don't really lose it. It's just that you don't view them as that status anymore.
Yeah.
Technically, since they're still part of the family, they never really sever ties with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they're
exactly.
still technically the father generation versus the grandson generation down below.
Yeah.
So anyway, me and my dad, we have conversations like that all the time. He's always like, it's weird, and he like laughs about it a lot, but he like doesn't shame on it, but he's just kind of like, I mean, hey, those people, they want to lose their ranking, sure, I guess. I mean, like, so it makes sense and ties into that because I hear my dad talk about it a lot.
Yes, that's what Dad talked to me and Liz about too, because
Yeah,
of a certain
The brothers.
the brothers that we were talking to.
So would you guys lose your ranking?
No,
too?
we would go up.
We would go up and they would lose it.
Oh, so then
We would go up, and we would go up to my dad's ranking, and my
Yeah.
dad was like, no.
We would outrank our dad.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, would you just say that it's just a man and their ego that they you didn't want us to do? So the taboo thing is a lie. It's all about men and their pride and their ego.
Yes.
I solved it, guys.
Yes.
We solved it.
It's all
We
about
solved the
men.
mystery of
Yes.
this taboo marriage.
God.
Yes, so it's just kind of like, God, I'm pretty sure Liz thought the same thing. It's kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Because that's why I had a conversation with Dad. I was like, well, I thought you said as long as it was the same last name. And then he was like, yeah, but this is different. He's like explaining it to me. And I'm like, so you're telling me that if I married this person, I would be on the same level as you? And he's like, yeah. In my head, I'm like, so you're saying that...
You should be like, don't you want me and you to see eye to eye on the same level?
Don't you want your daughter to be in a high level? Yeah.
I'll be respected.
yeah, you know?
That's so funny. But anyway, that's now you see why me and my dad we laugh about that, right? Because like he just goes. I mean, I think it's weird and funny, but whatever.
Yeah, that's me too. Cause like, okay, that's weird, funny, but yeah, y'all do you. It's like whatever.
I was telling my boyfriend about the ranks between. He's just sat there. He's like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I know.
That sounds dumb.
It's dumb. I'm sorry. For us, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I know some people take it like super seriously, and and then that's that's you, do you. But for us, it's kind of like you do know that generations down, no one's gonna care. Everybody's gonna forget that.
Again, the
Forget
whole
you.
twice removed, 3 times removed. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah, and it's like it's like I get you want to like hold on tight to it because it's like your identity and stuff like that, but you also need to remember that's not your only identity.
Yeah.
There's other parts to you too that is your identity besides your.
But it makes
rank.
sense what you say though about the addressing each other.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the
yeah.
ranking and everything too. That's how you know if that's your ball, your yo, or
Yes.
or like your dalo or whatever, or
Like how
whatever.
to call them.
Yeah, how to call
Yes.
them.
The proper title. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they always have to ask like, who's your mom and your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time
Imagine
they ask me that.
Imagine if you got with that guy and they ask you and you say, "I'm the boss."
That's what my boyfriend would say if they asked.
And he'll say, "I'm the boss."
Or be like, I'm RTG.
RTG.
He calls himself Rod the God sometimes.
Oh Lord! My God!
So like, he
So
would
is it THE or DA?
huh?
THE or DA?
DA.
God.
I would say the like THE because it's
Okay.
RTG. Rod the God. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
so
that's
you
stupid.
Be like, oh, you're cute, Rod.
I know. He even gave me my name too. That's darn Molly Anna Curtis III. It's a weird ass name. He's like, yeah, that's.
It's still an important
He
title
said,
he gave you.
he's like, but it goes with your initials, MCT. Just add the 3. And I'm just like,
Technically-
Curtis, though. Why
technically-
Curtis?
I don't.
Technically, you are the third. Oh, no, I guess you're not the third. No, never mind.
No, technically, it would work. The third.
Is it the third? How did you get the third?
Just from the third daughter.
Oh, I was
That would
thinking
still
of
work.
MCT because you and Michael are both MCT.
Oh, yeah, me and Michael.
And I
are
was thinking of
both
Dad.
MCT. But he's CKT.
No, he's
Yeah,
CCKT.
I know. That's what I was like. Technically, you're the third. Yeah, but no, I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
If you don't count the K, if you don't count the K, yeah, it's the third. You're the
Yeah.
third.
Yeah, that's all I was like. Yeah, that was what he would say. I'm the God.
You come from a long line of CTs. Hey, Muslim. That's all I imagine, like visually in my head when you said that she's technically the third, and then I see Dad, Mike, and then her line up at the end.
I mean, I was the one who opened that can. And
That's what I'm saying.
And Michael couldn't open the can.
Funny.
Next time he says that to you, I would say to him, for him to watch what he says because of your ranking. Know your place.
He's like, yeah.
God.
He's like, yeah, it's in the underworld. It has my name on it. That's what he'll say.
And yeah, I'm above that. So that's what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
you can just come back. Yeah, I'm above the underworld. Okay. Know your place.
Oh my goodness. So okay, well I don't know about y'all, but I've learned a couple of things about this Hmong taboo, I've read up on some things and there's like a lot more to it, but I'll probably save that for another episode because otherwise this episode would be like forever long. But I just wanted to touch on that, on the one of the biggest Hmong taboos ever, about marrying or dating someone with your last name, but then it'd be okay for you to marry your first cousin type of thing. Scientifically, genetically, biologically, it's wrong. It shouldn't be done. But it's all about ancestral ties and culture and traditions and stuff like that. So it just depends on how traditional you are, I guess. If it's something that you want to stick to, do you. For us, not so much, and the younger generations as well. It's definitely going to be changing a lot for the Hmong community in the next 10, 20 years, for sure.
The next couple of generations.
Yeah.
Keep raising your hands. So that way eventually you'll be the teacher that says, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah. And it's okay not to do that anymore, because things change, times change, people change, and stuff like that. You can't be stuck in the past too long or too much, otherwise you won't go anywhere.
Like, for example, you see the white people how they're like a fourth Scottish, a fourth Irish. It's kind of the same thing. We just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
We're still in the original homelands.
Yeah, the half. Maybe the half. A little bit of the half.
Yeah. So, I hope you guys gathered some info, had some laughs with us. And if anything we talked about is wrong or partially wrong or whatever, if you want to put in your 2 cents, please let us know. Comment, message us, because we would love to know. Because us 3, at least, were not raised very traditionally. This one is, and she gives us plenty of information, but there are some things that she's kind of iffy about too. So please, if you know and want to talk to us or educate us, please do.
And yeah, like I said, from a nice way, guys.
Yes, in a nice way, because everybody has a right to their opinions, but you just let's all be adults about it. Okay, so all right. Well, this is The Thickest Horse from episode 113. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.